God, it's Friday. It is April 29th, the last trading day of the month. Hello, traders. Let's take a look at the last pick. STLD was the pick. Before I get to the pick, I want to first take a look at what the market did. Here was the price action on Friday. Broke through horizontal support, closed on a low. This is where we were opening Monday morning before the open, which incidentally, I recorded the video before the open. So we were getting follow through selling. The first condition, and mind you, every single thing that we do starts with the market. Market first, market first, market first. If the condition for the market is not met, we have no trade. The market drives every single trading decision that we make. It does not matter how good the stock looks. It doesn't matter. If you don't have that market tailwind, there's no trade. We are simply using stocks as a surrogate market position, but everything starts with the market. Cannot emphasize that enough. So right now, we've got a pretty hefty market decline here. When I saw this selling Monday morning, I suspected selling, test support, earnings coming out, mega cap tech earnings. This was the thesis, was that tech earnings would not be as bad as feared, and that we would get a relief rally and we would close above SPY 426. That was the first condition. Market needs to trade above 426. Well, lo and behold, on Monday, we actually got a relief bounce and we got above 426. So the first condition was met. I wasn't expecting that to happen until maybe Wednesday or so after more selling pressure, because a long red candle closing on its low like that is typically going to get follow through. And we saw it. So in any event, we had to weather some pretty hefty market selling in here. The stock that I picked was STLD. Steel Dynamics. I still like it. The second condition to the trade, and this is the price action on Monday, was that the stock needed to trade above $90. You can see the $90 price point right here. If I hover over the candle, you can see the price was $90.13. That was the high of the day. Hey, it's above $90. Take the trade. Look when it happened. It happened in the last half an hour of trading. So I also was not crazy about taking a trade right on the closing bell. I would love to get a trade off maybe a few hours before the close and see continued strength into the bell. But this is how the trade unfolded, and this is the edge that we trade. It's the edge that I preach. We were in the right stock. Look at the market bloodbath that took place Tuesday, Wednesday. Look what the stock did. This tells you that institutional buyers are out there supporting the stock. It never pulls back with the market. If this stock were all fluff, wham, 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 they would be pounding this thing mercilessly. Let's go into that daily chart. That's why I like it. You can see long tails under body here, stock still trying to creep higher. I still like STLD. So it closed. We're probably down about 35 cents on the trade. No big deal. Call a spade a spade. It's a loser. I still like the stock a lot though. And I still think this stock is going to continue to move higher. If you are long it, there are two support levels. That's one horizontal support level. Here's another trend line that you can lean on as well. Both coming into play right around here. So we'd like to see these lows maintained. We'd like to see the market find a bid. What is my market thesis going into next week? We have a big FOMC meeting coming up. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if you go back to this bar right here, this is March 16th. I believe that we're going to see a little bit of a relief rally. Is a 50 basis point rate hike unexpected? No. Everybody's looking for a 50 basis point rate hike next week. They're even expecting language that hints towards a 50 basis point rate hike in June. Now, cumulatively, that's a 1.25% rate hike in just a few months. Yeah, that's pretty substantial. But the market is already bracing for it. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a relief rally in here. If we don't, we're not going to take the trade. So let me paint the picture for you. There's March 16th. This is the last FOMC statement. Oh my God, this is the first time that the Fed's going to be raising rates in years. Oh, and they might even hint that there's going to be a 50 basis point rate hike in May. Sell, 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 sell. Well, you start forming a little bit of support, and then as soon as the announcement comes out, and yes, they did raise rates, and yes, they were painting the picture for a 50 basis point rate hike. Look what happened to the market. Look at that beautiful relief rally. Now, it didn't last forever, and it eventually led to more selling because a 50 basis point rate hike is more substantial. But the point is, we could see this type of little relief rally. That's all I'm looking for. I want to find the best possible stocks. I'd like to close above SPY 430. That's the first condition. It is the most important condition because the market drives every single one of our trading decisions. It doesn't matter how good your stock is. If you don't have the market tailwind, you don't want to take the trade because there's a 75% chance you're going to lose money. 75% of all stocks follow the market. You need that market tailwind. So check the market 5 minutes before the close. Is the SPY above 430? No. Then there's no trade. If it is, then yes, there's a trade. Now what you can do if you're an Option Stalker member is you click GTC and you click the top of that candle. And so now I'm going to have a GTC alert if it's closing above that point. Beautiful. So now my thesis again is that we're going to see some selling pressure into the FOMC statement. So today is Friday. Futures are indicated down about 30 points. It's going to be a soft day. Probably going to see some nervous jitters Monday. Tuesday, the action will die down. Everybody's going to be sitting on their hands waiting for the FOMC statement. I believe that after the statement, yes, they raised 50 basis points. You're going to see some volatility, but eventually we should release and get a little bit of a relief rally. Earnings have been decent. So earnings have not been as big of a headwind. Let's go in and take a look at the daily chart. Let's see if we can find a stock that would work well. When you're using custom search, one of the most important things that you want to ask yourself is, what are the characteristics that I'm looking for in a stock? And let's say that you like to trade bullish flag formations. I certainly do. I'm going to show you how to find them using Option Stalker. So we'll go into custom search, and these are the search parameters that we're going to use. I always like to have decent option liquidity. I'm going to use a fairly low value of -7 just so that we get more candidates in. And these options will be, let's ratchet it up a couple of points here. These options will be pretty decent to very liquid because I've got the upper limit at 15. So first thing is we want to make sure we can trade options. Next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to look for a stock that has very strong ADX. Well, what is ADX? ADX is a directional movement indicator. It indicates trend strength. And you can see it right here. When that value is above 30 and above 35 in particular, then you know you have a very, very strong stock on a D1 basis, on a daily basis. So what I'm looking for in a bullish flag is I want to have that long, long flagpole. I need to have that strength. Secondly, what I want in a bullish flag formation, and I'm using STLD here, is I want that little downward sloping trend line like this breached to the upside. So I need to have a very short term upside trend line breach. So I'm going to use another variable called algo lines, and I'm going to go into an H1 chart. So here you can see very short-term downward sloping trend line that's been breached to the upside. That's why this variable is bullish. I'm going to click scan, and these will be my search results. I don't have 100 stocks to go through. Right now I've got what, maybe a dozen stocks to take a look at. So let's take a look at all of them, because one of these is going to be our pick of the week. Pick of the day, I should say. It's become pick of the week, which incidentally, I haven't been able to do any videos because I've been so dang busy on my website, my new website. The new website may actually be launched next week. It's got a ton of great content, a lot of educational content for all of you. So when it is launched, I'll make sure and do a video. I'll show you around. So let's go through these search results. Okay, I'm just going to be clicking on these symbols right here and popping up the daily chart. That's all I'm doing. I want to get it off screen so that it doesn't obscure our view of the chart. Look at that flagpole. Pull back. There's our trend line breach. Let's go into H1. We'll be able to see it visually. That's where it breached. So yes, this is a bullish flag formation. I like AR. Love this upward sloping trend line here. This is a really nice stock. Certainly would qualify for a trade. I don't know if it's going to be the one. If I see something like Conagra, right here we have horizontal resistance, horizontal resistance. Yeah, this is definitely another bullish flag formation. Look at that flagpole right there. But we need to get through that level. Well, what do I do with that, Pete? What do I do with that information? Click GTC, double click right here. Look, now we have an alert line. If it gets through that, that'll have gotten through horizontal resistance. It'll confirm this bullish flag formation. And yes, it's got a chance to move higher. I like it. CXW, downward sloping trend line, breach to the upside. Looks good. We've got a horizontal resistance level there. Now support. Here's what I like about it. You get this big rally right up in here, and the stock comes down. It doesn't even get close to challenging this and filling that gap. Buyers are already in here. They're not waiting for it to get here, and they certainly aren't letting it get down to here. This is a good sign for the stock. I believe this stock is going to continue to move higher. So, yeah, nice candidate. Again, mind you, it's been able to hold most of the gains. This is what's happened this week during a very nasty week in the market. It's a good sign for the stock, CXW. I like it. Looks good. That's a takeover. FPI hasn't bounced yet. Still waiting for that support. But yeah, you can see it's had decent upward momentum. That's why ADX is so positive. GIS. Not a big mover. A lot of compression in here. Back and forth. Nice little horizontal breakout. This is more of a grinder, General Mills. This is pretty nice. This may set up well for day trading, except, look, it's a 43-cent stock. I don't trade those. LW, trying, still not enough of a breakout for me because of this horizontal resistance here. So it needs to start getting some of these through some of these levels. Hey, here's a nice one. Look at that flagpole. Very nice. Stock pulls back. This is Merck. And there's your downward sloping trend line. Earnings announcement yesterday before the open. And look at that strength powering to a new high. I like it. Let's put up that 5-minute chart. I really like Merck. You can see how it closed on its high of the day. That could be your pick of the day. And we will get into those specific instructions. There's a nice breakout to a new high. There's your bullish flag formation. You can see how it's run up. Pretty decent. Not my favorite because it's near that high. So we've got a few that I like. AR, I really like. I think this is one that could go. This is a basic material stock. You can see that up here. Yes, all the basic material stocks have been rallying hard. CXW, that also looks pretty good to me. It's not an expensive stock. It's about a $13 stock. I think Merck is going to be the pick of the day. I also like it when a stock has an excellent earnings reaction. That tells me that institutions are excited about the numbers. They want to own the stock. Merck is your play of the day, here are the caveats. So I want to make sure that this stock is continuing to move higher if we get the market bounce that I suspect is coming. You can see if I hover over this candle right here that it comes into play. The high is 89.48 right there. If the market is making the type of move that I suspect, and the market, SPY, is able to close above 430, this stock should be able to clear 90 with his head of steam. So those are the two conditions. If the SPY is closing, so not intraday, it must be closing 5 minutes before the close. You check it. If it is closing above $430, if Merck is also above $90, then you would take this trade. What would you use as a possible stop? I would use something fairly tight, maybe around the $89 level. Doesn't move much. You want to make sure that when we do get that relief rally, that the stock continues to move higher with the market. So you can keep a pretty close stop here at the high. You want it to continue to march higher. So that's your pick of the day. I do still like STLD, by the way. If we get that type of market rally and the SPY is above 430, I certainly expect to see STLD back above $90. But as it stands right now, yes, it's a 35-cent loser. So I hope all this helps you. These are the types of patterns that you need to be looking for. Custom search is a great way to find them. You just have to know what pattern you're looking for. And when you know that pattern and you understand the variables that we offer in this matrix, then you can find anything. And in this case, we were looking for bullish flag formations. I love them. You get a nice little rally in the market. These stocks are going to lead the charge. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. Watch for that announcement on the new website. Trade well. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.